I came with a very small tripod. I came with my lights. The light I was using in Nigeria. And that cake brought me the next cake. In the month of September, I was able to do, I calculated it, I did 9 cakes between the date I posted and the next month. So I posted on the 22nd of September, if I'm right, and I calculated the amount of cake I made between then and 22nd of October. And I did 9 cakes. I mean, for a start, I think I did well. So clap for me. No retreat, no surrender. That's the title of this video. Aluta continua Victoria Asanta. Hi everyone, my name is Missy. You already know that, and I'm here today to talk to my fellow Nigerian bakers. I mean, those of us that ran away from the from the country, from our country of birth, Nigeria, and we are right here in the UK, or maybe you're abroad or you're in any part of the world. I'm very sure we share similar experience, and I've decided to create this channel so we can share a few tricks, a few tips. You never can tell who needs it. And I know a lot of people are still planning to relocate, and you might find this video coming helpful during your preparation. So just stick with me. You might just learn 1 or 2 things from me. Alright, so let's start. Over the years, I've had a lot of questions in my DM. I mean, over this year, yeah, I've had a lot of questions in my DM. A lot of bakers have been asking me, hi Missy, have you been able to transition? I can see you're having it easy, you're doing fine. Someone even sent me a message that, how did you break even? Break even, okay? No, I haven't. I'm still like, I can categorically tell you that I'm still like 20% there. It's been a struggle for me as well. It's just that we have this spirit. Me, I have this spirit, and I will say it again. No retreat, no surrender. Yes, we are here. We found ourselves here, and we are not going to give up. It's forward ever. We move. All right, so I have the questions jotted down. I have a few because my DM is actually very full, and I'm not even joking about that. So I just wrote about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions for today. Maybe we'll find time again and do another video, and then we address the rest. And let's dive into the video with the very first question. And the very first question is, how were you able to start baking almost immediately you got to the UK? Oh well, I came prepared. That's the simple truth. I came prepared. So I'm very sure I already knew I was relocating like a year before I eventually packed my bag and left. Right? So I did a little bit of research from most of my friends. I have a few friends who are already here baking. And then I just asked them a few questions. What and what do I need to prepare? What and what do I need to do? And they were really helpful. Always ask questions. All this our Nigerian, don't tell him. I'm not saying you are not to everybody that you're traveling, but ask a few people, especially the people that are already here. They will be able to tell you 1 of 2 things you could do to make your settling easy, right? Which is what I did. I asked questions. I came at the time where the exchange rate was booming. Is that what we call it? It was rising. So I already knew that changing my naira into pounds was not really going to make sense. And I had to weigh my options. What can I do? Because I knew that on getting here, I might not easily get a job because I'm a mom. I have a toddler. I'm a toddler mom. I put it that way. And I'm going to be working part-time. And I might struggle with my finances a little bit. So I knew that this baking thing just has to work. So I wasn't ready to give it up for any reason. Even if it was just a few pounds I could get from it, I'm very sure it was going to cover maybe feeding, it's little things. So I was a little bit hopeful for the business. So I came prepared. And then I did everything I could. As I was planning to come, I was also planning for my business. Let me put it that way. So I already gave myself an ultimatum that the day I get to UK, I'm just going to give myself a week or two to settle in, and then I was just going to start. I already prepared. I wasn't going to overthink it. I wasn't going to do any special. I'm just going to post on Instagram, and I'm going to start. And that was exactly what I did. And that was what made me. I think I got to UK 6th of September, and I started. I my first order went out on the 25th or 29th of September, thereabouts. So that was it. When were you able to? How were you able to ship most of your things? Oh yeah. So I've seen a lot of people asking me that they noticed that, for example, my cake mixer is the same mixer I've been using from Nigeria. My bowls. I came with my scraper. I came with my mixing bowl. I was so petty. I came with my mixing bowl. I came with my scraper. I came with my palette knife. I came with my turntable. I came with most of my pans. So I had like sets. I already did like three set of 6 inches, three set of 7 inches, two set of 8 inches, you know, one set of 9 and 10 inches. I came with every size of pan. I came with cupcake pans. I came with I even came with boxes. I came with some flowers. I came with my red velvet food powder coloring. I came with coffee flavor. Oh, I came with a lot of things. And that was because I already asked some of the bakers here, oh, hello, how much did you buy your mixer? And as I then, one of the bakers told me she bought a mixer for £300. And I was coming with my Naira, and I was looking at my mixer. As at the time I bought my mixer in 2021, I think I bought it for 150,000 Naira. So when I was leaving, the selling value for the mixer was about 100,000 Naira. So I thought to myself, if I decide to sell this mixer for 100,000 Naira, and I change it to pounds, at the rate of then, pounds was still like 1,200 to £1, 1,200 Naira to £1. So I thought to myself it wasn't going to make sense. And then I called one of my friends that already traveled to Canada like 2 months before. Okay, can I have the contact of the shipping company you used, because she shipped some of her things? And then I asked them. They told me as at then it was, I think, 3,500 Naira to 1 kg. I calculated these things. I got a scale. I remember I went to BVL Baking Tools, and I told her, please give me that your scale, because that's the type they use at the airport and not this shipping people. So I got it. I weighed my mixer. I shipped my quick cut machine. The only thing I did not ship is my freezer and my oven. And if I had the opportunity to ship it, I would have, you know, because it really went a long way. I calculated the cost of shipping most of these things. So like a month or two before then, I had all the things. I sorted all the things I felt I could easily start up with, and then I weighed them. I calculated the cost, and I saw to myself that it makes sense to ship these things, because if I sell these things and I change the money to pounds, I would not be able to buy anything. So that was exactly what I did. I didn't sell some of the things I needed to start up, and then I packed them, my mixer, my mixing bowl, my pan, even my whisk. I came with it. I even came with cocoa powder. Alright, so I shipped them, and I even shipped my things a week. That was exactly how intentional. You know, I told you, I already had it. I was mentally prepared to start running this cake business almost immediately I learned, because I'm someone that loves to see alert entering my account, and so to do away with alert entering my account for so long was already doing me somehow. So I told myself, no, I'm going to start as soon as I settle in. So luckily for me, I was able to get a house before I left Nigeria through one of my one Nigerian agent here, and I sent one of my friends to do the viewing for me, and she said it was okay, and then I paid for 3 months. So I already had a place I could stay for 3 months. So what I did was that a week, because the shipping company told me that it usually takes 2 to 3 weeks to get to the UK. So I shipped a week before my travel dates, so that as I'm getting there, my load is also getting there, or is getting there probably a week later, which is exactly what happened. I think I got to UK on a Wednesday, and my things, the first batch of things I sent got in the next Monday, then the last batch came in before that other week ran out, which is why I was able to post on Instagram, I think the third week of September, and then I started taking orders. So yeah, how were you able to get customers? It was not easy. But one thing I did was that before I left, I told you this thing was planned. I didn't just boom. I planned for this business to continue running. So before I left, I started thinking of that time when I didn't have a business, how I started this business in the first place. And I remember that I really didn't overthink starting my business. I just started doing this thing. I started posting. And then I started getting customers. So I told myself that was exactly what I was going to do again. I wasn't going to overthink it. I wasn't going to overdo any content. I was just going to post, and then I would start. Right? And so one thing I did was that I remember that when I started my business, then I was doing a lot of hashtag. I went back to the basis of Instagram, because I knew that Instagram was going to be the place for me to start again. Right? I know people will find me on Instagram, and I wanted to use Instagram to the best of my advantage. So like 2 months before I left Nigeria, if not, I left Nigeria in September. If you look at my posts since June 2023, I already started doing hashtag the place I was planning to live. I was already hashtagging cakes in London. I was already hashtagging cakes in Dartford. I was already hashtagging cakes in almost every place. Lewisham, cakes in Barnet, cakes in Harrow, cakes in Woolwich. Already Southeast London. I wasn't really sure, because as at then I had not gotten accommodation, but I knew that I was going to stay around those areas. So I was just hashtagging. So if you look at my post as at June or July 2023, you will notice that I already started hashtagging UK places in my post, but I was still in Nigeria. Because what the hashtag does for me is that it makes it easy for people that are looking for example, if I'm looking for where to buy wig, for example, on Instagram now, and I'm new in the UK, I want a place in London to buy a wig, I don't know anywhere. What I'm just going to do is hashtag wigs in London, and I'll see a lot of vendors that have used that hashtag to post their products, and then it takes me to their page, and I decide, oh, do I want to buy from this vendor or not? Which is exactly what I did. I started hashtagging most of my pictures, and the first set of customers I got, I deliberately asked them, how did you find me? And I had nothing less than 10 people telling me through your hashtag. There was a lady and she's still one of my sweethearts you date. She's not even in the UK. She's in Nigeria, and she wanted to get something for her friend in the UK. I think around Kent then, and then she told me, oh, what she simply did was to just do hashtag cakes in Kent, and she saw a lot of vendors, and then consistency. She said she saw a lot of vendors that had that hashtag, but she chose me because when she went to the other people's page, the last time they posted must have been maybe a month ago or two. I know that life is happening to us in the UK, but try to show up on your page, even if it is twice, in fact once a week. Make sure you post something. Just post something, because you never can tell. Because I for one will not get to your page. Maybe somebody introduced me to you, and then I went to your page, and the last time you posted was 2 months ago. I'm not going to send you because I'm just going to assume that you are most likely out of business, because you can't be in business and not post for 2 months. So that was how I was able to get my customers. I stayed consistent on Instagram. I went out of my comfort zone. I started doing TikTok. I started dancing. Oh my God. I started dancing. I started just to stay, because it was difficult for me to do the things I used to do in Nigeria. In Nigeria, I could easily buy materials even if I don't have any job and just make something and post. But because I was in the middle of transitioning, I was spending a lot of money on settling, so I couldn't do so much into giving a lot of things out into my business, like buying free things, doing free things. So I thought, what could I do? So I started doing all these short TikTok videos, and it went a long way. All I did was that I didn't even have a money for sponsored ad, because of course I just brought my naira from Nigeria. I had not yet gotten a job. I already got a house, but it was just for 3 months. After 3 months, I would have to start paying rent again. I was out of job, my husband was out of job, and we had a toddler. So I didn't have money to spend on extra things. So I was serious about putting energy into the business and getting customers. And that was how I was able to get customers. I stayed consistent. I used my hashtags. I was posting. Even anything little, I will post. Let me just be there, just in my face. I have come this morning, oh, come and buy something. My Instagram, my WhatsApp. I wasn't scared to let people know that I've traveled. I don't know why people are always you. If you are in business and you know you want to do this business, there's no this Nigerian mentality of I don't want people to know that I have traveled out. I beg, try one corner, enter Instagram, let people know that your location has changed, and let them know that you are actively taking orders. And that's it. That was exactly what I did, and that's what helped me till date. Were you able to where do you buy your baking materials? Where do you buy your baking materials? Okay, when I got to UK, I was clueless. I didn't know. In fact, my very first order I posted on Instagram. That same day I posted on Instagram that I had relocated and I was now open to taking orders in the UK. I got a customer. I had no idea of what the pricing was going to be. She just told me she just gave birth and she wanted to do, I think it was a baby dedication, and she wanted me to do a cake. She's been following me all the way from when I was in a solo, and she's been in the UK, and she's so happy I'm here, and I was so happy. Finally I have a customer. When she told me she wanted this, I messaged one of my friends, how much should I charge you? She told me, okay, charge this amount of money. I said, okay, no problem. I charged her. I didn't even know what it would take. She said she needed the cake like 3 days after. There's no cake store in UK that you can easily walk to, like a cake store in Nigeria, and buy everything. So I have to ask her, what do I do? She said, okay, I have to order on Amazon. So I ordered my cake box, In fact, I think the money she paid me £95. She paid me £95 for, I think, 7 inches, 3 layers. Because I wanted to impress her, I even did 7 inches, 4 layers for her. I gave her a free box of 6 cupcakes. So you have to compensate, because we are the one looking for customers, so we have to compensate. I wanted to go all out. I even did free topper on top of this £95. So I did free topper for her. I did free box of 6 cupcakes. I gave her an extra layer of cake, which I don't regret, because she's still my sweetheart till date, and she has given me a lot of customers from there. But I was so excited. So I ordered from Amazon, and I was panicking. Will these things get here? She ordered today. I needed to make the cake the next day because she was coming for it in 3 days time. So luckily for me, my friend told me, oh, you could go to Lidl or Aldi to get your flour, your sugar, your baking powder. All you need to order on Amazon was, she chose a design. Thank God I came with my stencil. I didn't have to buy stencil. I just ordered box, flowers, and some things on Amazon. And then I wanted to make Swiss meringue. Thank God for one of my baker sister. I think her name is Whisk Bake on Instagram. And then she was the one that told me, oh sis, just buy pasteurized egg. Before then, I'd never used pasteurized egg. And then she gave me a recipe I could easily follow, because I was trying it for the first time. I was like, with this Swiss meringue I use really work. She just told me, okay, if you're scared, just get pasteurized egg. This is the recipe I use. She shared that recipe with me, and I used it that day. I didn't sleep overnight. I was doing this, I was doing that. I came with a very small tripod. I came with my lights. The light I was using in Nigeria. I came with my small tripod. I remember. So that was why I was able to film almost immediately. So that night I did my small tripod in my little kitchen then, and my lights, and I recorded. I was so excited. I posted on Instagram, and that cake brought me the next cake. In the month of September, I was able to do, I calculated it, I did 9 cakes between the date I posted and the next month. So I posted on the 22nd of September, if I'm right, and I calculated the amount of cake I made between then and 22nd of October, and I did 9 cakes. I mean, for a start, I think I did well. So clap for me. All right, so let's go into the next question. So the next question says, how do you deliver your cakes and how do you post your cakes? For delivery, it's simple. Because I know that Uber cost here is expensive, and most times it sends these customers away. Unlike Nigeria, back then you could easily deliver cakes for 3,000 naira, 5,000 naira. Back then, I don't know how much it is now. But here, I think the first thing was that my friend already told me that delivery is a problem here. So you have to focus on the people around you, which is very, remember I told you I started hashtagging the places around me. So when I got a place, when I eventually got a place I was going to stay, I started hashtagging cakes to my surroundings, because the truth of the matter is delivering cakes outside London was not going to work. Nobody is going to pay £200 to deliver to collect cake. Nobody is going to. I will not pay that, and I'm very sure no customer will pay that, because how much is the cake? You're telling them to pay £200, £300 for Uber. So I think the first thing I did was I realized that Uber to a far distance was not going to work. So I started hashtagging the people around me, and then I knew that people already here knew that delivery was an issue, so they are open to the idea of picking up their cakes, unlike Nigeria, that you can be in the next house and they will still pay for delivery. You get? But here, I suggest to them, I started suggesting to them, you can pick up your cake. Some even take train. Some come as far as coming with train to take their cakes. Some will say, okay, how much is the Uber? If it's not far, maybe 20 something pounds, maybe 30 something pounds. Who go buy, go buy. That's my slogan. Who go buy, go buy. So anybody that will buy from you will buy from you. I know the Uber cost could be a little bit, above, but those that are really interested in buying from you, they understand. And some will tell you, I'll pick up the cake, and some will say, don't worry, I'll pay for the Uber. And those that cannot pay, just let them go and move on to the next one. Just focus on getting people around you, so that when you tell them the price for Uber is not so much over the board and they don't mind paying for it, and some of them can easily drive down and pick their cakes by themselves. But I've had a lot of dedicated customers that have paid as high as 80 something pounds for delivery, as high as 50 something pounds for delivery. That's why I said that who loves you and who really appreciates your crafts and wants to buy from you will still buy from you. So focus on the people that really want to buy from you and leave those that cannot afford to pay for the delivery. It's understandable. For the posts, of course, I have never tried, and I will never try posting a fully decorated cake. It's just logic. It will never get there in one. Have you seen the way this male men just throw these parcels? Sometimes they just leave it by your dustbin. Sometimes they just leave it under the rain in front of your door. I've had someone deliver topper to me before. It was an acrylic topper. Would you believe this delivery man folded the envelope and threw it inside my letterbox, and the thing broke. They are that careless. No matter how much you write, what's the name of this sticker? Fragile, handle with care, nothing concern them. They will just throw your parcel. So imagine spending so much time doing a cake, and I don't do fondant. I don't know if fondant will work too, but I still don't see it working, because no matter how hard your frosting or whatever you're using to decorate your cake, you still have to handle the cake with care and love. So I knew that posting fully decorated cake will not work. I'm not going to let somebody pay that much to buy a cake and pay for post and still not get their cake in one piece. So if any, I've seen a lot of people asking me, please, can you send the cake to me outside London? Can you post? And my simple answer is no, because I cannot talk. I can't speak English. I don't want a dick. I know they, I'm not there. But I tell them, I can post pastries to you, I can post plain cakes to you, I can post my dessert bowl. For the frozen items, what I did was, I had a friend who was doing small chops then, and she told me she posts her frozen small chops. It's simple. We buy insulated boxes. You can go on Amazon and search insulated postal boxes. You will see them. That's the one that even people that sell food, people who post food in the UK, of course we know that post will never get, there's no same day delivery. The earliest your post will get there is the next day. So you have to make sure that you package these things well. Remember that they are edible. So most times I buy ice pack, I buy insulated box, and I buy bubble wrap. So I make sure I pack my product with ice pack, so that the insulated box is like a moving fridge, so to say. So the ice packs are inside, is making it cool. And during winter it's easier. Everywhere is cold. So I've had my cakes delivered the third day after it. In fact, I think the very first person I sent to, and I was so lucky because it was my friend, and it was just like a test run. I just told him, oh, I want to send this, please, I just want you to, because I could not afford to pay. I told him, please, I want you to pay for this. I know you don't need it, but I just want to use it to try this out, so I can put it out there on Instagram and my friends can buy it. I mean, my customers can buy it. And I was like, no problem. And so I got his post. It was, I think he lives in Manchester. And I used postal mail, sent it. It didn't get there till like the third day or even the fourth day. But luckily it was during winter. It was packed well in the insulated box. The ice packs were still frozen by the time it got there, and it was still perfect. I was even telling him, when it was already like the third day, I already told him, this thing will be spoiled by now, this thing is not going to work. And when he eventually got it, he sent me a video. They were not really frozen again. The dessert bowls were not, because of course I freeze them well before I even pack them. So they were not really frozen again, but they were already in like room temperature. They were still cold. But they were not frozen. And he tasted them. He told me they taste great. That they did not even tell him that this thing got here late, that he wouldn't have known. So I was like, okay, that works. And since I've been sending 2 days, a day after, my products gets delivered. The only one I would say I don't like really sending much is pastries. I don't like posting pastries, because for me, I believe that pastries is as they ought. Chop them as they ought. If I'm frying puff puff, I want to eat it as they ought. If I'm eating meat pie, I want to eat it as they ought. But unfortunately, there's no same day. There's no, hey, Mr. Kenny, where are you? Go Kada, oh yeah. There's nothing like that here. You have to post, and the earliest service you could get is the next day delivery, which is sad. But throughout last year, I was doing it. I was sending plain cakes. I was sending dessert bowl. I was, those that were willing to wait till the next day to get their pastries were buying it, and they enjoyed it. Brownies, things that do not involve freezing, as sweets to loaf cakes, very easy to send. And little money was coming in from there. At least, if you cannot buy full cake, you will buy loaf cake. If you cannot buy loaf cake, you buy puff puff. If you cannot buy puff puff, you buy meat pie. If you cannot buy meat pie, you buy dessert bowl, you buy brownies, buy banana loaf. I posted to post banana loaf too, is easy. And that was it. I was making my monthly. So don't forget, just go on Amazon, get your boxes, insulated box, your ice packs, your bubble wrap, start sending your cake. If you cannot find customers around you, create a product that you can easily post and start sending it to the ones that are far from you, that are willing to pay for post. Just download Royal. I use Royal Mail, yeah, but I've had people say they disappoint me too sometimes. Yes, I've had Royal Mail disappoint me once or twice, but overall 90% of time they did well for me. I can't say much about every, because I didn't have a nice experience with them, but some people say they work for them. So I think this thing is about knowing what works for where you are, because some people, I have someone in Hertfordshire that said Royal Mail is terrible at her side. She prefers to use every DPD is expensive, but I heard they are good. But for me, I use Royal Mail. I just download the app, I book a day before, I make payments. They even come and pick from my doorstep. Sometimes if I just feel like, oh, let me walk down, I go to their delivery office or a post office, and then I just post, and that's it. So let's get into the very last question for today, which is, how do you stay consistent? See, there's no theory, there's no formula. I just do it. Let me put it that way. I don't overthink it, I don't overplan it, I just do it because I know that I love what I do. I love this thing, I love this job, I love baking, I love decorating cakes, and most especially, I love money. I like seeing a lot, credit alert, boom, credit alert. So I just knew that I need to stay consistent. I show up on my Instagram. At least it's quite difficult being a mom, going to school, working then I was working part-time, now I'm working full-time. It's even much more harder to stay consistent. But even when I come home at night, I still record content. See, I see my Instagram page as my shop, right? And there's this thing about opening where you work, your shop. If I go to your shop or your office today, you are not there. I go tomorrow, you are not there. I go next week, you are not there. I go in 2 weeks' time, you are not there. I would automatically move to the next available office that has the services or the products that I want to buy. I'm not going to wait for you to come back. And once I try that other one and it's nice, it will take the grace of God, or maybe I really love you, to come back to you. And then maybe I even really love yourself, and now come back and I'll buy. And I'll come back again, another 3 months, you've gone. You are not there. You don't open. You don't open your office. I'm going to forget about you. So I see my Instagram page as my online office. I have to show up. No matter how tired I am, I just have to open that office or that shop every day. Sometimes I'm away for 2-3 days, but I still make sure that at least once a week I'm there. Because that is when people seeing your posts, they know, oh, this person is active. If they send you a message, you are responding that same day. There's this vendor I left recently. She makes toppers for me. Not because our job is not great. I even still think she has the best pricing so far. But I can message this lady and she will reply me 5 days later. How will that work? I want to order a cake topper for you. Maybe the cake is supposed to be delivered in 6 days time, right? I've messaged you today. As soon as the customer paid, I want to order topper so you can send it to me. You know that when you make this thing, maybe you send it tomorrow. Royal Mail will take 1 or 2 days before they bring it to me. So you have already taken the first 5 days to even reply me. I'm not joking. This lady takes as long as 5 days. And I recently just moved on to, so she made me start looking for options. I understand that we are busy. She also works full time, so it's tough. It's tough, really. It is really tough. But if you really want this thing to work, you have to find a way to stay consistent. You have to know how to respond to your messages on time. You have to know how to show up for your business every day. No matter how tired you are, record something and post. Make sure you are online. Please be consistent. It is just important. That's how I stay consistent. I record every little thing I'm doing, I post it. I make sure I reply my messages on time. And lastly, it doesn't even have to be cake content. Post your daily life. Let people just know that you are in this space. Just be in their faces. Be in their faces. No matter how tough it is, we just have to do this. So, we've come to the end of today's topic. I hope I've been able to bring in the spirit of no retreat, no surrender. Say it after me: no retreat, no surrender, no retreat, no. Aluta continua Victoria Santa. And I assure you that if you are planning to come to the UK, or you're already in the UK and you used to bake back then in Nigeria, or you are in another country, somewhere in any part of the world, and you're finding it difficult, watch this video. Sit down and think about it. If you're just planning to come, it's beautiful because you can use this to learn one or two things on how to prepare your journey. And if you are here, it's not too late to start. Just don't think it. Remember, I always say it. Just start. Do not overthink it. Thanks for joining me today. I love you very, very much. Remember that. And this ground, we must break it together. See you in my next video. Bye.